It's recording. In theory, oh dear. Maybe the audio is actually going to work for a change. God only knows. Hello, Travis.
Hi.
Oh boy. Did you go look on YouTube and see what the podcast video looks like now?
Nope.
It looks okay. I found like a piece of artwork. And like your face is there. My face is there. I've got a web browser up. I've got the Twitch chat that flies across the bottom of the screen when it comes in.
See, so you said that it looks okay, and then you immediately went on and said that both of our faces are on there.
Well,
So I'm
I'm
having a hard
sexy.
time believing you.
I'm very sexy. I don't know about you. I'm so sexy. I do actually have some user or listener feedback, viewer feedback
Okay.
about you in particular. They said your room looks like a boys' room. Get some artwork.
No.
Okay, well, there you go. I did my part, guys. I relayed the message to the best of my abilities.
So like here's the thing. I don't like owning stuff.
I know. That's what I told this person who gave me the feedback.
Like all of my stuff is right here. And my bed stuff. But like
That box of condoms, not yours.
there's no boxes in here.
No boxes in here. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Two Trolls in a Brew. I'm tired of this conversation. Episode 126. Title, Murder Your Face Hole. So, I've been working really hard trying to get the audio levels adjusted. And the first thing I did after making some changes was get Travis on the thing where he immediately tried to blow out my eardrums. It is the worst.
Well, you know what they say.
Hearings for listeners.
Can't smell anything. If you're deaf, well, you might as well be Helen Keller.
Hey, I'm almost there.
Now all you have to do is learn something new. So good luck with that.
Exactly. Subtitle this week is Congrats. There's a bunch of good news in the air. We got all sorts of people graduating from different schools, different colleges. It's just that time of the year, Travis. Do you have
I know.
Do you have anybody in particular that's graduating or celebrating anything in particular?
Not directly.
Doesn't you have a sister that's pooping out a kid any day? Probably.
No.
All right, let's just lie and say you do. No, still no.
Okay, then yes.
Awesome! Congratulations, Travis's sister. I give you finger guns. Pew 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 pew. Anyway, no. In all seriousness, there's a ton of stuff going on, and of course, we had a couple of winners at the most recent PPTQs at the Arena/Goblin Games, and congratulations to you guys, Jeremiah and Nolan, for taking down your respective PPTQs.
We're all here for you.
No, we're not here for you guys at all. You guys suck. You won. I didn't. I didn't play. I pussed out.
Well, maybe you should get better then.
We'll get to the reason why I didn't actually play on set in a little bit. But let's...
Because you're old.
There's a little bit of that. I'm also trying to be a responsible person. So my troll card for this week's episode is going to be Thran Temporal Gateway. You know this card, I assume, right?
That depends. Is it the one that lets you...
You put a historic permanent from your hand onto the battlefield?
Yeah, for 4 mana.
For 4 mana. So this thing was great. It was my pick one, pack one rare from this week's draft, and I drafted around it really heavily. I drafted the 2/1s that untap artifacts. I drafted the bird that made artifacts / legendaries cheaper. I drafted the 2/3 that lets you draw more cards. I ended up with that big 4/4 vampire that it costs like 7 mana, 6 or 7 mana. But whenever a creature your opponent controls takes damage, it gets a 1/1 counter. I think it's a vampire of some sort. And for like 3 mana, you get a shock something.
Okay.
You know what makes that card really good? Flash. So, I actually got to play this thing on turn 4. And then attack with like a 3/4 or something. Oh no, I attacked with something, and my opponent blocked my 3-power creature with 3 1/1s. So
Okay.
before damage, I flashed in that vampire, and was able to make it like a 7/7 on turn 5, and then I think I made it like an 8/8 on turn 6, where it got 2 attacks in, and then my opponent immediately turned it into an 0/4 wall with 6 1/1 counters on it or something. And that kind of sucked.
Yep.
But it was really good for me. I really enjoyed the deck in general. I think that there's a deck here with like, it was really heavy in black with those 4/2s that whenever you play a historic spell, your opponent loses 2 life. Are you familiar with that card?
Yes, the Cabal Knight.
There you go. Perfect. So that guy plus like the army of 2/1s for 2 little artifact guys that untap an artifact at end of turn.
Mm-hmm.
They were very, very good. Like they blocked for days, and they just basically gave my flying robots vigilance, and they were so cheap, especially when you could bring them back down on the table for very little mana. I'm actually strongly considering trying to figure out how to put those guys in that artifact-based deck that I've been kicking around for the last couple of weeks. By taking it more away from the really cool March of the Machines win, and instead turning it more into a Storm-esque deck using, is it Paradoxal Outcome that puts stuff back in your hand?
Yep.
Like, Paradoxal Outcome is really, really good when you have that guy to, like, drain, as well as the Aetherflux Reservoir to gain some life. Like, those 2 guys together seem to make a lot of sense. And Dan actually played that deck for me on Monday at Monday Night Magic, and he didn't win a whole lot. I think he went 2-2, but he had a lot of fun and it made a lot of sense. But he also thought like maybe that guy would be a good fix. I also kind of like the idea of having either the blue or the black in the sideboard, so then you can sideboard into one version or the other. So you can have like Creature Limb with Battle at the Bridge, and the drain effect with that, what'd you say his name was? Cabal Knight?
Yeah.
Or be able to go like March of the Machine you counter spells. So I don't know. It seemed like a lot of fun. Dan was doing pretty well. For never having seen some of the cards. But
Right.
he looked at me after playing game 2 against Nathan and went, "Hey, I got all 16 of my lands in play."
Yep.
And it took about 40 minutes for them to play game 2. So it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome indeed. Your troll card this week is the Mending of Dominaria.
So I have drafted 3 separate times, and I currently play it in my sealed league.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 drafts I drafted it, and I went like 4-0 and then 3-1. This third draft, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of playing Mending of Dominaria. I'm gonna try and do something different. So I passed it. And then I went 0-4.
The card seems really good.
Oh, the card is insane.
I mean, I've never got to play it. I've had it first pick, but I don't think I've ever actually managed to resolve it and or activate the first saga. Like,
Yeah, no, it's great.
It looks really good. I've had it played against me a couple of times, and I'm like, oh my god, how do I beat this? But then I do. So, but yeah, it looks really interesting. I definitely think that it's going to go in that 5-color brawl deck that I'm kicking around, hopefully for next week or the week after. But I don't know. It feels real slow. Like, do you see it making its way into standard, or is it just a draft/sealed card?
I can see it making it into standard, simply because the deck that I'm working on right now, it does have it in the deck, and it is incredible value off of it.
But don't you have to be like hugely discardy to make it do anything?
For the mending?
Yeah.
No. So I'm playing a teamer mid-range type of deck that is it's simultaneously dinosaurs and mill and Sylvan Awakening. Like, it's just all over the place, right? You know, kind of how my brain works.
Right. It's the brain cancer of Magic decks.
Right. And when we were playing it on Thursday, the games that I won just out of nowhere was off of the value of what's that lady? Tatovia?
You just ask me, one, to pronounce something, and two, what something is.
The Benthic Druid.
Oh yeah, okay. I like her, the Merfolk chick. Play a land, draw a card or something?
Right. Well, I'm playing the teamer ramp, mill, dinosaur, whatever. And I'm playing with, the Mending of Dominaria and Ibnu Rivulet. So, on multiple occasions, I milled myself for 8 when the mending was going on to, the third level, the third lore. So I milled myself for 8 with the lore on the stack. And then I got 5 lands back at most, and then I shuffled everything back in the deck.
Right.
So it was insane self-mill value. And with Tatsavoya in play, one of the games I gained, I think it was 13 life off of her, with the mending and the rivulets and just doing the stupid combo back and forth.
So for me, I think if I was going to play this deck around the Mending of Dominaria, right, I feel like it's got to be green, black, blue deserts with the idea is that you're going to just self-mill like crazy. Use the deserts that blow up to do stuff like crazy. But I'm not sure what your payoff cards are for these creatures, because it wants creatures in the graveyard too. So by the time you're putting in the Mending, the go fetch out desert cards, I figure you probably have to have 5 mana Lily in this deck, right? So what are your creatures in this deck? Is it all artifact based except for Yahini?
In my deck, I have Galta.
Okay, a Galta.
I can get him out on turn 3 at the earliest. Because, the Thunderherd Migration, the other big dinosaurs, and Sylvan Awakening. So I got that. I have Llanowar Elves. I have 2 Ranging Raptors. You remember that guy?
Is that the 5/5 for 3?
No, but I do have that in here also. Ranging Raptors is the 2/3 for 3 that Enrage get a basic land into play.
Oh, okay.
But no, I do have the Wayward Swordtooth also.
Okay. Like, that
So
guy makes kind of sense to me. Because he can still block, he just can't attack, right?
Nope, he can't do either unless you're Ascended.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yep. But he works insanely well with this chick. Or dude. Who knows? This fish.
That's right.
Because, you can play an additional land each turn. So you drop a land, draw a card, drop a land, draw a card. And you basically have, they have 8 power in play. Gain 2 life, drew 2 extra cards.
Yeah, so in my mind, the blue would strictly just be there for the Sacrifice a Desert Mill land.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, like, I can't imagine a blue card in the deck in the main, necessarily. But,
It's just the fish.
Say what? Just the
It's
fish?
just the fish. Yep.
But, otherwise, I would feel like it's just black, blue, or black, green. Get it in your graveyard. Get back, like, some value creature. Like,
You can play Muldrotha.
what's the artifact 2/2 for 3 that, like, enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, and it dies, you draw a card? Whatever the heck that guy is, I feel like that guy goes in this deck.
Oh, the fox.
Yeah, familiar or something?
Yeah, Filigree.
Filigree familiar? So, like,
Yeah,
that...
it's a little bit slow.
It is, but this way, it doesn't matter about all your desert mana base, right?
You can just get him back.
Can you just get him back? Right.
Okay.
So, like, basically, your colored spells in the deck, in my brain, are Mending, Lily, and then, like, whatever sack outlet / attacking thing that is good. I mean, I don't know what else is in there, but Bontu, Yohini, stuff like that. Like, I almost wonder if this deck is 5 colors and runs Goblin Siege Gang, but I doubt it.
I mean, then it'd just be 4 colors.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna be splashing for that, you might as well splash for Gear Hulks too, right? Like, obviously you run the black Gear Hulk and the black I want to say Flame Tongue Kavu, but it's a Chupacabra, right?
Yeah.
But, like, things that you can sacrifice and then just get back when you cast Mending, or when you uptick Liliana, or whatever. So, I don't know. Like, the Black Gear Hulk seems good as your top end. Like, 2 Black Gear Hulks, 3 Mendings or 4 Mendings, all the deserts. Because if you can just throw your lands away to get, like, cool effects, and then when this thing hits 3 on the Saga, you're just like, put this trigger on the stack and do cool stuff. Like, it seems good. Am I crazy? Or is
Do I still just keep the fetches then?
I don't even know if you worry too much about the fetches. Like, I think you play some, but I don't think you play like a million. I think you just play like ways to discard. Or mill. Probably not even discard. Probably you want to accelerate into stuff and buy time with like the filigrees and whatever other interesting artifact creatures you can think of.
Yeah.
And then and just kind of like play this buy time game. Oh, I know what else we need to add to the show notes while I'm thinking about it. No, what is it called? MTG Salvation. Spoilers are... We're starting to get some spoilers for the new base, the basic set. Anyway, while I figure that out, have you actually been playing it? It feels good?
Yeah, I've been playing it. It feels pretty solid. I mean, it loses to the aggro decks, but not much I can do about that.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's why I was going with red, because it's just gonna let me. It's gonna let me board wipe quicker without any drawbacks.
So can you do just black board wipes?
Well,
Because you
I
have
can.
Yahini's expertise, right? You
Right, and then
have the neg 2,
Bontu.
neg 2, and Bontus.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if I go red, I still have Hour of Devastation, which kills indestructible things and planeswalkers, and I have another 3 drop, which is Sweltering Sunge, which is basically the same thing as Yahini's expertise. Just it costs 1 less, and I don't get to cast anything else.
Right, which
But
just makes the other one way better, right? Because you
well,
what's better to catch up than I'm going to play my 4 mana neg 3, and then I'm going to gain 2 life, make a 2/2 that also says I'll stand in the way and draw a card.
right. I mean, it's that, but or it's like if I just do black green, and then I splash hard for the I could just do black green dinosaurs, Sylvan's or Yahini's expertise into a Wayward Swordtooth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I have to screw around with it. But I think the red Gear Hulk would be great in here.
Maybe anything that you can sacrifice and continue to regrow.
Right.
I think. Jolly Green Giant says, "Cheers, Samus. Cheers, Jolly Green. MTG nice, DDO, and Magic." That's correct. That is correct. What is the latest numbered edition block? The last block cards I bought was 11th edition. Well, we're going to talk about that next, actually. If you're done, are you done for now? Like I think I feel like we want to come back to this later, like maybe next week, when I'll see if I can't put some energy into building what I think, and you can get some more reps in with yours and tell me what you think.
Right, because I'm gonna be playing my Teamer version tomorrow. But
Yeah. Well, I know that we talked about some challenges coming up with our various recording schedules. So.
Well, and I was gonna say, if I do splash black, I think the only thing that I would do it for would be Madrotha.
Well, that's really strong, right, in your self-mill deck. But then also, like I said, you want abilities to make sure that you put creatures back in the graveyard that you want to recycle. So, like the Black God, Yahini, even that 3/1, I can't think of his name. That you sacrifice like an artifact or a creature, and he becomes indestructible. Like even that guy's okay. I can't think of his name right now. I'd have to go through the gather and look it up.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Black creature. I think I'm pretty sure he's a rare. We'll just say standard. Creature. In the rule text, he has sacrifice. I am thinking of. It is not coming up. Oh no, I'll have to look for it later. Anyway, let's bounce. Let's bounce to answer. What's the newest numbered edition? So, we're starting to see spoilers for M 2019. The thing that was never supposed to happen again, Travis. Do you remember?
Yeah, just like everything else.
No more core sets. Here we go. So I like core sets a lot. I'm a big fan of core sets. And I think there's some good ones in this. So right now we have a 3/1 lifelinker for 2 in white. We have a 2/4. You gain 1 life for each creature you have into play. That ability is called. There was a sorcery that used to do it way back in the day. I can't think of what it's called now. But that costs 4. Inspired Charge is back. Nightly Pledge is black. Luxodon Linebreaker. So a bunch of bleh. Bad Boomerang, Dwindle, Cancel, Anticipate, Mighty Leap, Omen Speaker. That's nice. It's nice to have the Omen Speaker back, I think. I like Into the Battlefield Scry 2 on a 3-1. Scholar.
1-3?
Yeah, 1-3. What did I say?
3-1.
3-1, yeah. I did that anorexic thing. No. What's the other word?
Dyslexic.
That's what I said, anorexic.
Yep. It would explain your weight.
Oh, so hungry. Scholar of Stars is I think a new card. At least it's new to me. 4 mana for a 3/2 human artificer. When it enters the battlefield, if you control an artifact, draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that a lot. Act of Treason, Hostile Minotaur, Tormenting Voice, Sure Strike. We got an Ogre that's a 4/2 for 3. It's kind of interesting. But then we got a new Goblin. I think this is a new Goblin. Goblin Inquisitor. Is that a new Goblin?
What's it do?
It is a red and a colorless, or generic, sorry, for a 1/1 Goblin. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 red Goblin creature token.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the new War Marshal.
It is. It's doesn't have Echo. I like this guy. I'm not in love with it, but for a common, I like it. What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I mean, I love goblins, so anything that they print that says goblin on it, I'll play it.
So, yeah, I actually was strongly considered playing that Goblin, or take at least, on that Goblin Godpharaoh's Gift deck.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of recycling...
Fodder.
Well, fodder, recycling. I was actually trying to think of Goblin Siege Gang. But, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Jolly Dream Giant says, I've always loved my black and blue Megrim deck. Counters and make them mill while taking damage. Yeah, that sounds like a Travis thing if I've ever heard it.
It's because I've done it.
Yeah, of course you have. If there's an it, Travis has done it.
Especially if it is mill/discard.
That's fair. So speaking of it, I've got your draft here. It's laid out long ways because I couldn't figure out how to turn it inside the web browser.
Okay.
Although I have to admit I didn't try super hard.
That's shocking.
Yeah, I know, right? So other than a Syncopate, a Befuddle, a Blink of the Eye, looks like an Eviscerate, Vicious Offering, 2 of the -1/-1 makes a Sapling.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else do we got in here? We got a Turtle, 2 Turtles. Looks like 2 of the 5/5 Death Touchers.
Yeah.
Is this the 3/2 mill thing?
The 3/3 mill 4?
Yeah, maybe. Is that the flyer guy?
Huh?
The flyer?
No.
Okay. Which guy is this?
The self-mill one, yeah.
Yeah, is that what this is?
Yep.
Okay. Then let's see. We got a Divination. Navigator's Compass, which is great. Power Stone Shard. Gilded Lotus. Let's see. Some blue legend thing. Some black thing. Another black thing. Okay, it's too small. I can't guess the cards now. You're going to have to fill in the rest of the blanks.
So, the way I...
Oh, it's Genie of the Lamp.
Yeah, the Djinn. The
Alright.
big 5/6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Yargle.
Is that the big, like, 5/2 or 8/2?
9/3.
Pretty close. I'll just keep saying numbers till we get them figured out.
Right. Yeah, basically all that stuff.
Okay.
But then, like the very, I think the way I have it set up Those units like removal slash control, uh, utility creatures, 6 drops, legendaries, and then the bombs or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So there's, all that stuff was cool and everything, but then I got Karn.
Oh, is that what?
Rona.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Karn.
All right, a Karn.
Rona, the blue-black one that you exile a historic from your graveyard. And
To, like, draw a card or something?
No. So you exile a historic from your graveyard. You can pay for exile top card of your library, and then you can cast cards exiled with Rona. You can exile them, or you can cast them from exile.
Okay. So that's like drawing a card.
Right. And then Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. So...
What does that thing do? It's one of those legendary sorceries, right?
Yes. So legendary sorcery, you destroy a creature or planeswalker, then return a creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to play.
Okay.
So the only deck that I lost to was a mono red goblins deck.
Okay.
It was a mono red aggro deck that had stupid amount of goblins, and it just destroyed so hard. And then so I lost to that. And then what else did I lose to? No, that was it. But one of the games that I played, I had 3 separate exile piles.
One for Karn, one was for this, and one was their exile.
So one from Karn, one from Rona, and then one from Precognition Field. And that's one where you can look at the top card of your library and you can pay 3 and exile it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it got super complicated. Like, I had 3 different exile piles, and 2 of them I could use, plus I had my hand and whatever was in my graveyard that I could cast. And it was just so stupid. It was like playing with 4 different hands, and my opponent's just like, I can't do anything. One of the games, I cast Karn 3 separate times. So I cast him the first time, and then I purposely made stupid plays in order for them to target him so they would kill him. And then the next turn, I cast Rona, exiling Karn, and then cast it that same turn, and then got more value out of it. And then later, they just kept targeting Karn because, well, he's a good win condition, right? And they just left Rona alone. So they killed Karn again. And then I cast Yawgmoth's Vile Offering, brought him back, and they're like, you know what? We're done. I'm not going to play this game. And, yeah, it was a pretty spicy build that people were just like, oh, I can't do anything against that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to do like these mid-rangey, like value-y type builds, and hasn't quite worked out the way that I want it to go yet. It usually takes me about 2 or 3 drafts to like get into a set, and then I win like the next month worth of drafts, and then about that time it seems like the next draft comes out, or next set comes out, and I gotta start all over again. But I don't know. I'm waiting for me to actually know what the cards are and what's good and what's not. It feels a lot harder this time.
Not really. Like, I think I figured out the draft.
Okay.
So basically, you draft green, and then whatever else that you want, or you just get Karn and work around him.
I mean, that seems like a pretty easy thing to do. I'll just make sure I get a Karn at least in the first or second pack, early enough to adapt.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good strategy.
Perfect.
That's what I did. I've won both tournaments like that. Just working around Karn exclusively.
Yeah, that'll be my plan then. He's like a legendary, right? Or mythic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool.
he's a myth. You got this.
Sweet, no problem. Not a problem. I'll just channel my inner Terry and open it every week.
See, I knew you could do it.
Ah, duh. So good. Let's see. That's really it. That's all I got. Like I said, short show this week. I didn't play in the draft. I guess I said I would get into that, and I didn't. So longtime fan of the show, Dan. We've talked about him a lot over the years. His wife kind of needed like a little bit of a break. So I went over and hung out with him most of Saturday. So I really didn't get a chance to like fine tune or practice or play test or do anything with my deck. So I was like, well, I guess worst case scenario, I'll just play what I played last season, but I'll pull out 4 random cards or 3 random cards and put in 3 cards. So that's what I registered, and I was like, all right, guys, well, if it's odd, round 1, I'll play. And of course, I think we had an even number. I don't remember exactly how many. We did not quite break 30 people, which was pretty poopy, but it's a crazy weekend with graduations and finals and stuff like that. So I kind of understand having a little bit lower, and the GP. I know a lot of our guys went to the GP, so like it was a rough weekend for our turnouts, but I don't know. It was still, huh? Dallas?
What GP? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I guess
so
that's not far away.
no, so like at least 5 or 6 of our guys went to Dallas. So even the shop that gets the Kansas City guys pretty regularly, Goblin only had I think 30 something, 32, 33. Yep. So I think we did like 28, maybe 26, 28, something like that. So it was a little bit of a disappointment that we didn't get more, but for the weekend, and I don't know, it felt weird. But so I helped judge. I didn't want to judge at all, but the judge was like, "Hey Sam, can you help me with deck checks?" And I'm like, "Sure, I can do deck checks, whatever." So I was doing deck checks, and they had a judge call. He's like, "Hey man, I'm still like way deep in this deck check. Can you answer that call real fast?" I'm like, "Sure." So then I deal with that call, and I answer the question correctly, but they want to appeal. So I'm like, "Hey Paul, these guys want to appeal." And then like 4 more deck checks, or not deck checks, judge questions come in, like within 5 minutes. So of course that judge question turned into a giant shitstorm that I can't get into because it turned into a guy got removed from the tournament during this, so I'm not allowed to get into it. But I will give one quick piece of advice for everybody out there who wants to play competitive. Don't add information to your story when talking to the judge. As your information starts to develop and become more clear how the game state got askewed, just don't add those details at all, ever. If you start to understand why something happened, don't add it. Just continue to act like your ignorant self that it was when you first told your story. Because if you change your story, because it starts to become clear to you what actually happened and what mistakes were made, and if you misspeak, it can turn into a DQ very quickly. So just don't add information. Just always answer the questions that the judges give you with the least amount of talking. Don't be shifty about it. Just be like, I'm going to answer my questions very clearly, because it sucks when you have to remove someone from a tournament that you, deep down inside, you feel like they don't do anything about. Yeah, don't elaborate. Perfect. That's a good way to put it. Don't elaborate, because if you dig yourself in a hole because you're elaborating, like, there's nothing the judges can do after a certain point to save you. Yeah. So just keep it bare bones, and be very careful to just tell the exact answers to the questions that they ask. So yeah, I ended up answering, I don't know, like maybe 15 judge questions throughout the day.
Yep.
Which was good, but at the same time, like, my very first judge question back judging at my own PPTQ, like, spiraled into a massive cluster. So, like, even now I feel like twice burned, quadruple shy when it comes to judging, because that's not what I want to be. I don't know, it really kind of makes me question my desire to get my level 2, even more than I already was questioning it with, like, can I keep up with the rules? Can I remember? When I have flashbacks to, like, the rules 10 years ago, can I straighten those out? So, yeah. Long story short, I really don't know if I want to keep going down the path of trying to get my L2. It seems weird. But Nolan took down our tournament with basically very similar to how this blue-white control is lined up on Goldfish. Very, very similar. Just a few cards different. I think there's a few less settles in the main and a few more card draws. But, I don't know. It looks like blue-white's here for the season, my friend.
Shocking.
Ooh! They print a really good Planeswalker in blue-white, and they're like, oh, surprise, surprise.
There's quite a few people who are saying that card is going to be better than Jace the Mind Sculptor in Modern.
Teferi Hero Dominaria has a lot of potential to be surprisingly good. I would not be surprised if Blue-White Tron doesn't try to become a thing before it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, the ability to +1 draw a card and then untap 2 lands, like, that's a huge amount of mana for, like, a blue-white control player with Tron mana to just untap and, like, oh, I'll tap these 2 towers and play a Worm Coil Engine, right? Am I saying all the right words? And then I'll plus my Teferi, draw a card, draw into a Syncopate or whatever, untap my 2 towers, and, like, oh, that's disgusting. So, yeah, I could see it. I could see it a lot. A card that I actually was a lot more impressed with this weekend that I thought was kind of like a joke card is this Blink of an Eye.
Oh, that card's insane.
Yeah, when I first was reading it, I was like, well, this is just a really bad blink, right? Like a really bad thing. The option to go to 4 mana to draw a card on it doesn't seem great, but it is actually great. The card is very good. I'm very pleased. I also like how Search for Azcantas are dropping now, like singletons. That makes me very happy.
So what you're saying is I should sell my buy a box one now that it's stable at $50.
Probably. I don't think they're going to go up too much more unless they, like you said, start to see a lot of play in Modern. But I think the ones that are out there are probably pretty popular anyway. The only other comment I have written down is I got to chance, because I spent Saturday with Dan, the little bit of Magic I did get to play was Brawl. I got to play some Brawl, and I pulled out my Padim deck that I threw in the show notes over at samusgarobo.com, and it's too good. I'm pretty sure it's too good. There's a point where in the game, one of the games that I won, I think it was Remington, cast Saheeli's Artistry, and I copied it with my... I'm trying to think what this spell's called. With that fork spell. You know what I'm talking about? Insidious Will.
Oh, okay.
So I copied it with Insidious Will, copying like his red Gear Hulk and my blue Gear Hulk. Made 2 copies. Targeted the Insidious Will with the blue Gear Hulk. right? Copied it again while it was still in the stack. And then with that Blue Gear Hulk, I got a counterspell. I think Spell Swindle out of my graveyard. And Spell Swindled his Saheeli's Artistry.
Yeah.
So it was gross. It was very, very disgusting Magic the Gathering play right there.
It sounds like a good time.
It was pretty fun. It was like that, just the right level of debauchery that I'm down with. But again, the complete list. Oh, also I had a Swarm Intelligence up at the time.
Of course.
So things got a little out of hand. That and also metallurgic summonings. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. Also, to continue to add just a little bit more awesome to that, Mirage Mirror actually can copy an enchantment as well. Did you know that?
No.
Mirage Mirror? I'm pretty sure it can copy an enchantment. So at one point I used it to copy a Metallurgic Summonings, and at another point I used it to copy a Swarm Intelligence. So yes, very gross. Very, very gross. I almost think it's too good. Almost too good. I also traded like a 2/2 token that I made off of like a Metallurgic Summonings for Riley's Commander. So that was a good trade.
For who?
I played with Riley, Dan's son.
Oh, Riley. Okay.
I played with Remington, Riley, and Dan. So, but yeah, it was fun. Not at all overly broken, except for the time that I copied Edifice of Authority with my Mirage Mirror to put a brick counter on it. And then I turned the Mirage Mirror the next turn into a Sunset Pyramid and removed a brick counter to draw a card. There's a lot of like little cool interactions. Mirage Mirror is a very good Magic the Gathering card. So, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I think it's almost too good to play for reals. But, I don't know. People should check it out. Check it out. Also, just for you, Donnie Clover was last week's Troll Hottie of the Week.
Who?
Ronald Dover, the new Lando. That was a throwback to last week's show. Never mind. He doesn't remember.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember one too many marijuanas. One too many marijuanas. Alright guys, we can send us an email to trollsbrew@gmail.com. You can also check out the Twitch page like you're probably watching live here. Twitch.tv/SamusGarobo. Of course, the Twitter pages are TurtlePower319 or again Samus Garobo. Everything's kind of like steamed together. I want to say thank you for those of you who are watching live. Jolly Green Giant, thank you very much for filling in the chat box. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I'm sorry nobody else is being overly chit chatty in the stream there, but I don't know. It's growing. It's growing with the Magic the Gathering show. Travis is definitely singing a song over there in his head.
Yeah, no, I totally just got sidetracked, and I'm going deep into this Mending of Dominaria deck.
Well, now's your chance. Tell me your story. It'll be the last shot of the show, so what do you think?
So, I'm going to be obviously playing Muldrotha.
Right.
Helm of the Host.
Okay.
Karn.
Yeah.
Vraska.
Okay.
Angrath.
Alright.
Darygaz.
Okay.
Champions to mill myself.
There you go. That's a good reason to play more blue.
Noxious Gearhulk.
Right.
Combustible Gearhulk.
I'm still...
caravans, and it's gonna be a toolbox.
Well, where's your? You need more creatures to turn on to pull out of the graveyard, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I still have this whole. I got that Nissa, and I think I'm gonna do the blue-green one also. And then got this lady, the Tatavoya. And then Swordtooth, Galta. Where is it at? Carnage Tyrant. That's all you really need. That's all you need is all of this stuff.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
And 2 guys' blessings.
What about hour promises? You gotta have hour promises. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, they're right there.
Bam, did it. What about the your land taps for 2 more mana, but you gain 3 life enchantment instead of a fetch?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I could do that.
To help keep you alive till you get to the point where you can cast your crazy things.
Right, Gift of Paradise.
Yeah.
I think I should put Gaia in there.
I mean,
for her second ability to plus to mill.
Discard a card, maybe.
Discard 3, draw 3.
I think you have too many not creature spells in your deck.
Yeah, but I can cast them from the graveyard with Muldrotha.
That's fair. What about Primeval's Glorious Rebirth? Return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yeah, then I won't care if my planeswalkers are dead. Alright, one of let's go. Should I put the one of Joyra in there too so I can just keep drawing?
Yeah, why not?
Alright, let's do this.
I think what you do,
Tomorrow's gonna be fun.
You also need the Fist of the Sun guy.
What's that one?
Oh, I don't know his name right now. The 5-color guy.
Jadu.
Is that his?
Jamaica.
Chabadabadoo.
Jumanji. Troll on, everybody.
Troll on, everybody.